And our mission is really to focus on a couple of things. The major mission is breaking the negative cycle of black men, and mainly the unhealthy sexual habits that we learn, the unhealthy sexual lessons that we learn as black men. A lot of it affects us in so many different ways: psychologically, behaviorally, emotionally, spiritually, relationally. And our job is to really explore, or what we hope to do is explore, examine, and come up with solutions on how to break those generational cycles that are passed down in our black men. So what we recognize is that the things that we learn, it affects us in so many different ways. And it doesn't only affect us, but it affects our community, it affects our children, it affects women, and it affects us. It creates pain inside of us. And it doesn't only create the pain, but a lot of times we use sex to cover up the pain inside of us. So we have three major goals on what we try to do. The first thing is we're trying to re-educate younger generation of men on how to measure their manhood the proper way. So we want them to understand that their manhood is not determined by the amount of women they sleep with or how good they perform in the bedroom, but it's determined by the character they have, the virtues they bring, and the discipline that they carry as a manhood. Our other goal is to really help parents and help them to teach their young boys on how to develop their young prince into the king that they want them to be. Because you will be surprised on how many men I've talked to that have never had a conversation about sex with a credible man. Never had a conversation about sex, about an educational conversation, I should say. A lot of their guidance was misled. It was influenced by people that did not know what they were talking about. And the third goal is to really help men, not only boys, but to help men to focus and overcome one of our biggest struggles, which is engaging in entertaining meaningless, casual, endless sex. Because that really blocks us from being a man that we want to be in a lot of areas of our lives. Over the past year, I've probably interviewed and surveyed close to 75 men on this topic. And the first question I always ask the men, where did you learn about sex and what did you learn? And you won't believe some of the questions, some of the answers I get. Well, you might believe some of the answers I get. But some of the answers, pornography is always number one. Then there's peers, their friends. Then there's the younger guys, it's the internet, and then it's always a source from one that's not credible, one that's not educational, and one that's teaching us some unhealthy things about sex. So what we're really doing here today, you see I got a lot of my brothers, I got our sons, our young men that we try to teach and try to guide and teach them a different way. So what I want to do is real quickly is just let them introduce themselves and then just give you a sneak peek into the conversations that we have all the time. Trying to teach the younger men better and more healthier ways to approach sex and manage their sexuality.